So I had a little talk as well because I want to leave our esteemed guest Hugh to have the final word. So this is one of the main reasons that motivated me to start UBI Works and do all the work that we do. It's crazy that we're in an economy where even having a job isn't enough. When work is not enough, then the whole system is broken. So basic income is not just a way to relieve poverty. It's a way to restore pathways into the middle class. It's a way to give everyone a chance to live a life where you know you can never fail in the absolute sense. You can try new things, take risks. It's a way that we can pursue this future that we know is possible, where we can all try new things, create more. And a lot of the experts in automation are saying that we should be prepared for a future where a lot of the jobs are going to be more artistic in nature, more bespoke, as they say, because automation is taking out the most repetitive routine jobs at all income levels. And if there's only one thing that you remember about the whole automation stuff, it's lower wages. It's already happening. That's what the science says. Economists have predicted this for many decades, a time when the marginal cost of labor, meaning the amount of value a new employee can add, it decreases and decreases because there's so much automation. So that means workers have no bargaining power. And what we've seen in this pandemic is supports that are vaguely resemble basic incomes have given people the chance to negotiate for better pay. And we've seen what people call a labor shortage, which is actually a wage shortage for the lowest income and low skill work. So when you hear someone say labor shortage, remember, they're not talking about software engineers and nuclear physicists where you'll have real supply side issues. They're talking about jobs that almost anyone can do, which is typically has the least amount of negotiating power and thus the lowest wages. So basic income like supports have given people the opportunity to switch careers during the pandemic, to stand back, negotiate better wages. And the actual way an economist recognizes a labor shortage is through fast wage growth. Fast wage growth has already been happening. It's like, ooh, everyone's afraid of fast wage growth when that's what we should want. That's what we want. So basic income, I think, will create more of that on a personal level, perhaps even on a societal level, more fast wage growth for low-income jobs, people getting out of poverty, pursuing their potential, and that's what basic income is about for me. And part of the work that we've seen now, I think basic income is ready to win an election. We're seeing progress already in this election, as you've heard from Sheila. But we now have a moment in time in this country where 8 million people who never thought they would ever need support from each other through something like a basic income suddenly got it through the CERB. And this is a voting bloc that will remember this. This is a voting bloc that will vote in basic income, if not the next election, shortly after. And I think I am 100% confident there will be a basic income at some point, unfortunately, because life is getting harder. And one day, this sounds funny, but Elon Musk is going to press a button, the entire Tesla fleet is going to become self-driving, competing with taxis. And that's just one example out of hundreds and thousands of examples of jobs that are going to be automated very soon. Life is going to get harder, and we need to make sure there's a positive solution to the problems people are feeling so people don't lean on crazy ideologues and crazy political ideologies that lead to violence. I think basic income is at least the first step in that direction for a positive solution for frankly, the pain that's to come. So I am 100% positive that we will have a basic income, and let's hopefully we get there quickly with minimal disruption. And yeah, the last thing I say is, for any politician to support a change of this disruption, they kind of have to say it's going to be good for the economy too. I know this is not about that, but we now have evidence. We have research on UBI Works site that basic income will create 600,000 jobs in Canada. Why? Because people spend the money in the economy. It goes in to help the local economy, helps local business, induces more hiring. It could add $80 billion to Canada's GDP, which is as much as the pre-COVID tourism and hospitality industries combined. And I remember Krista Freeland going out of her way recently in speeches saying, hey, childcare will create jobs. It's economic infrastructure. We know create even more jobs than that, a basic income, where we can unlock tens of millions of people to pursue their potential. So we need all of the above. So now there's no more excuse. Basic income will create jobs. It will grow the economy. There's really no major excuse that can hold it back. And it doesn't have to cost working people or even middle-class people to pay for it. There's many ways to pay for it that can lean more on passive forms of wealth accumulation that even won't hurt economic investment either. There are many ways to pay for it. So there's really no excuse left for a basic income. So the last thing I'll say is that the purpose of this march, 350 people signed up. We're splitting into 3 groups. The third group has just left your starting point. You're welcome to join them and march with them back if you want to keep doing this and show your support. But the purpose of this march is to double the size of the next march. And the purpose of that march is to double the size of the one after. So all of you, thanks for coming. Your energy really matters. Please come out to the next one. You're on our list. You'll get notified. We're thinking of doing it twice a year. So within 2 or 3 years, it'll be impossible to ignore this movement. Any party knows that if they don't run on a basic income, they will lose. So with that, I'd like to introduce Hugh Segal, an incredible man who's done so much for the movement. Thank you, Hugh.
Thanks, Floyd. Thanks, Sheila. Great to be here. And most importantly, thank every single one of you for marching today, for showing your commitment, for engaging, and being part of a struggle which, as Floyd has suggested, is very, very close to victory. You know, we stand here on the unceded lands of the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat, the Huron, the Mississaugas of the Credit River, and there is a lot that we could learn from our First Nations brothers and sisters about caring about each other and about caring about each other's future and engaging on those issues in a way that speaks to our fundamental humanity. You know, the good news about this election is that now we have, I think, over 120 candidates for Parliament in 3 political parties who've signed the pledge. If they get elected to the House of Commons, they'll be fighting for basic income with every single one of us. And that is a tremendous achievement by the folks at UBI, and it just shows how broadly this movement is growing across the country. And when people look at your tremendous t-shirts and say, why now? Why not tomorrow? Why can't we wait? Can we afford it? Here's the answer. Basic income now, because the pandemic showed us how low-income people pay an inordinate price when health issues are afloat in our community. More of them were infected. More low-income people were sick. And that's because poverty is a perfect predictor of bad health outcomes for millions of Canadians. And we have to be able to do better. Basic income now because, as Floyd has said, it is affordable. Not only is it affordable, but if, as the politicians tell us, they want a recovery and building back better for everyone, basic income is the fundamental key to make sure that it really is for everyone. And we don't turn our backs on the 3.5 million Canadians who live beneath the poverty line as we sit and stand here today. And basic income now, because if we're going to have that recovery for everyone, we need more and more rapid economic growth that actually has a place for everyone. And as the research that Floyd referenced makes perfectly clear, there is no better way to add jobs, add growth to the gross domestic product, provide more economic opportunity for more people than by having a basic income as part of that plan. Now, I don't want you to think this battle ends when the results are known next week for the coming election. Actually, that's when the battle begins in earnest. Because we are going to have a House of Commons that is filled with people who believe in basic income. We're going to have a House of Commons where likely no one party will have a majority of seats, and they'll be dependent on other parties for support. And those other parties are largely committed to a basic income, which means they can put conditions on the table for extending that support. That is leverage we have never before had in this battle, and that is a step in the right direction. When you stand back and look at all the policy choices that are there for governments to make in an open democracy? How do we work to make sure that automation doesn't destroy jobs? Thank you for that. How do we work to make sure that low-income people and their children and families get a chance? How do we work to make sure the communities in which they live are revitalized and grow? There is only one answer. The answer is basic income. You are the champions of that, and if we work together, we're going to make it happen very, very soon. God bless you all, and thank you.
And Hugh proves that this is not any one party's domain. Hugh is a former conservative senator. I don't know if you introduce yourself. So we have support all over. So this is the end of Group 1's march. Thank you very much.